Hello and welcome to this Streamline and Automate Business Processes with the Microsoft Power Platform. Today you will be hearing from myself and Nigel. Nigel, if you're there, do you want to quickly say hello? Hello all. Look, thank you for your time here. Both Nigel and I have been I think we can say we've been streamlining and automating business processes for the best part of a couple of decades. And what Microsoft has done with the Microsoft Power Platform the last couple of years is really exciting, and really appreciate your time to investigate this with us. Look, what we have for you today is, there is a fair bit of content that we're going to get through here. We want you to really understand, even in this short amount of time, the fast and efficiencies that the Microsoft Power Platform can provide businesses. Look, we will do this by providing an overview of what, I guess Nigel and I have been involved with the Microsoft Business Application Suite for a long period of time, and the Power Platform really fits within the whole business applications environment. But of course, the role of the Power Platform is quite unique in what it does. So look, we'll give a quick overview of where the Power Platform fits in the Microsoft technology stack. But really, we're going to spend the majority of the time today, Nigel, taking you through those four aspects of the Power Platform, and in fact, giving you a live demonstration of each. Well, 3 out of the 4 will actually be a live demonstration inside the tools that do provide these sorts of business efficiencies. But please note, although we are going to get into quite a bit of detail in this demo, it is still going to be an introduction. We do have, up front, I'll say, we do actually have future webinars that will drill down much further into the Power Apps, into Power Automate and the aspects of the Power Platform, for those particularly who want to get their hands dirty far more. Just taking a step up and just to introduce the Power Platform in the context of the overall Microsoft Business Applications Platform. For a long period of time, Microsoft has had these 4 pillars of engaging customers, optimizing operations, empowering people, and transforming products and services. Of course, engaging customers is about customer experience and customer satisfaction, gaining loyalty from your customers, and I guess increasing revenues, because that's going to be your revenue base. Optimizing operations is really about streamlining and automating internal processes, being able to do more with less, really about efficiencies and cost savings. Transforming products and services is really about whatever your organization provides the market that you work in, whatever products and services you provide your constituents or your customers. It's really about providing those better from a competitive advantage perspective, and empowering people. Typically, it's the people inside your organizations that are delivering those products and services and providing that customer service and doing those processes. So empowering those people to do better at their jobs, making them happy staff, and really adopting your company's objectives is really what that pillar's about. So those 4 pillars have been there for quite a while, but what is different is really the importance of data, because those 4 pillars used to be reasonably static, whereby Nigel's, myself would go in, implement Microsoft solutions, and the ability to continuously improve wasn't very dynamic at all. But what we're able to do now with data is be able to, in all those 4 pillars, be able to report, analyze, and then continuously improve. And this is where Microsoft is talking about the digital feedback loop, whereby every bit of work inside your organization creates data, and that data is valuable, and it improves all those 4 pillars. So that's where Microsoft's high-level goals are of business applications. Now, it's worth, before we drill down into the Power Platform, it's always nice to see analysts' comments about certain topics, and this is no different here, whereby some recent studies said that 91% of business leaders see digital transformation as a way to innovate and create efficiencies, and 85 of those say they must digitally transform or they may go out of business. Yet we still have 37% of organizations still using paper to manage critical business processes. And that is really where the Microsoft Power Platform and the role of low code, and we'll explain what that low code means really shortly, but just to explain and to put this in context, that, as most people on this call would have, that have some sort of ERP system whereby some or most of your business processes are addressed by some sort of off-the-shelf. I think in today's world, there's some significant benefits with a software as a service solution. We've put up my 3 favorite here of Dynamics 365, CRM, with all the different sales and customer service workloads, Business Central and finance and operations. I know many people on the line have those applications or their predecessors, being AX or NAV or GP. But as you would probably know inside your organization, all of your business processes are unlikely to be addressed by an out-of-the-box application. Even any of the Dynamics ones, there are always going to be aspects of your business that aren't as streamlined and aren't as automated as you'd hope. And for you to actually streamline and automate those processes, you need to do custom development. Now, organizations, of course, have limited money, limited resources, and sometimes a limited appetite for custom app development, and that's very understandable. But that really is where low-code development comes in and where it helps massively, because every process that is not digitally transformed is a missed opportunity to streamline and automate in the short term, but also to continuously improve in your business. And that is really where the Power Platform comes in that it is faster than any other tools that we're aware of, able to digitally transform, be able to streamline and automate processes that currently are not optimized. You'll see the 4 major or the 4 aspects of the Power Platform, and I'm sure the Power Platform is going to increase in the future. The last one there of Power Virtual Agents has only been in there for a few months, right? So I'm sure this platform is going to continue. But the concept is the same in that, although we're going to be talking about this Power Platform and these tools, please note that these tools span the whole Microsoft ecosystem. So Office 365 with your Word, Excel, Outlook, SharePoint, Teams, or your Dynamics 365 applications. And I'll introduce something now if you haven't heard of it. This down the bottom left, you'll see something called the Common Data Service. So the Common Data Service is the database of the Power Platform. So when Nigel's going to start showing you these apps, most of these apps are going to be using this Common Data Service as its database. But furthermore, all the Azure services and those Azure services might be data connectors to SAP or Salesforce or some of these other applications, or just standard databases, SQL databases, or whatever business data sits in your organization, that can be brought into the Common Data Service. So again, all the tools that we're showing you today, Microsoft is no longer a closed system, only open to applications on the Microsoft platform. It is an open system whereby it can bring in data using today's modern technologies through Azure. And that also opens up some of these things, and we'll show some of these things like artificial intelligence and machine learning, opening up your data within your business to that. So that is where the Power Platform fits in. It is typically, there used to be a term that Microsoft used, it reaches that last mile of productivity, and that is still correct today, but the enhancements that have been done to this Power Platform is really quite exciting. That is really an introduction to where the Power Platform fits in. So although these, I guess, highlighted 4 pillars that Microsoft's been using for quite a while with its overall business application suite, it is definitely applicable to the Microsoft Power Platform. And you'll see down there, again, another analysis quote whereby Gartner estimates that 65% of all application development will be low code by 2024. So the days of, again, very large developments inside big ERP systems, be it the Dynamics F&O and BC or SAP and Oracle, those days are really going away to this more agile, faster, much more low-cost approach to streamlining and automating processes. So that's where it fits in. I'll now pass over to Nigel to actually go through every one of those 4 components, and as I said, we'll even go down to live demonstration. So Nigel, please take over.
So thank you very much, Adair. So what we're going to be looking at today as part of this Power Platform presentation are the four main components of Power Platform, and they are, as you can see on the screen there, Power Apps, Power Automate, Virtual Power Agents, and also Power BI, which most of you will be familiar with. Let's start our journey and let's have a look at what we can do to see all of the power of this platform within the Microsoft ecosystem. Okay, so let's moving on. The next component here is around Power Apps. And I suppose the good question is, what are Power Apps? So Power Apps is really a rapid application development environment that allows us to do a number of different builds or components of customers' delivery to their customers. So it's a suite of templates, templated apps, so Canvas, Model, and Portal. We'll have a look at those in a moment. It is all built on this common data service that Adair has been talking about. So you'll be able to see this in action and be able to see information flowing between applications using that common data service that underpins everything. It is connectors to services as well. So other services that you may have outside of that common data service. In essence, this is designed to connect your business data stored in your own underlying platform, so the CDS or other online or on-premise components, so whether they be SharePoint, Excel, Office 365, connecting all of those different discrete business applications that you have and be able to bring them together into one platform. And that's in essence what the Power Apps are actually designed around. So there are three different types, as we talked about, Canvas Power Apps, and they are really designed as drag and drop, quick entry apps that allow you to have things like a kiosk at a reception desk. It's accessible via the App Store and Google Play, and there is over 250 plus pre-built connectors between different data sources through that common data service. We'll have a look at one of those Canvas Power Apps in a moment. Most of you will be familiar with a model-driven app if you're using something like Dynamics 365 Customer Engagement. Dynamics 365 Customer Engagement is actually built on a model-driven app. So what you have there is the ability to design a model of an app based on a data source that you actually have. So it needs to use the common data service, so it's sitting on top of that. It allows you to build a data model from scratch, so you create your entities, your relationships, etc. So some of you who have developed or been involved in an implementation of Dynamics 365 will know that we can do that within that framework, and this is allowing us to take on top of what is already pre-built by Microsoft as something like Dynamics 365 Sales, and really build on top of that to create a more business-focused or a business-specific need app. And the last one is around Portal Power Apps. So some of you will know this previously as ADX Studios or Dynamics Portals. They have been now brought into the Power Apps world or the Power Platform. And allowing us to have those as discrete portals sitting on top of that common data service, allowing our customers and our external-facing people to have access to our data in a secure, organized way. So let's go off and let's have a little look at a Power App Canvas demonstration. So what we're going to be looking at today is the Power App section here within Microsoft. So I'm logged into the Power App section. You'll see I've got a menu down the side here. I can go in and I can build my own Power Apps based on, I can start from scratch, and you can see those three types, Canvas app, model-driven app, or portal. Or I can use one of the many templates that are involved. So there are many business design templates that I can use to leverage a starting point for my own particular app. Whatever it might be, there might be one that is applicable, or you might need to start that from scratch. But we're going to have a look today at a Canvas app, and that is a pre-built template, which is the onboarding task. So, for example, you have staff that enter your business as new employees. they need to get onboarded, up to scratch with your business, complete certain tasks. That process in and of itself is a discrete process that we can build into a Power App. So you can see on screen here now that we actually have the inner workings of the building of a Power App. So down on the right-hand side or left-hand side here, you can see that we have a number of different screens, and all of those are outlined here. So we have the welcome screen, and once I click on that particular welcome screen, you can see that I actually get a frame that has the details on there. This is actually not the actual Power App itself. This is how I'm building it. So you'll see I've got the screens, I've got the actual building table, and I've got some details about the properties of the components that I'm working on. So just to flick through, so you can see I've got a welcome screen. In this case, I've got a profile screen, so the employee is updating their profile. I can see information about my team and get to know my team a little bit more. Similarly with my company, get some information about the company. Upload my profile photo. Update my About Me component for the rest of the folks in the organisation. And there's a range of other components that allow the employee to become more familiar, including a little bit of a task list and a to-do thing within that application. Let's go back to the welcome screen here. You can see that I've got that there. I can click on any component of that, and I can now change the component so that it is more in line with the company feeling or look and feel. So I can change all of that component to make it look more appropriate for my organisation. I can add in components, so I can add different components into there to click buttons to take me to another page, just like I would with a number of different applications. I can do those types of building components. So once we've actually got that ready, we can then test this out. So we're going to preview the app now, and you can see here that we can use it as a test run to flick through the different components. I can complete tasks. I can set my photo, just like I've set up the pages. I can do all of that from this particular app, whether that be on an iPad, whether that be on their desktop. All of that can be done as a first day onboarding task, so that you've got all of their information ready to go. So that's a Power App. We can build that quite discreetly, and once again, you can deliver that in many different ways, whether it be in an iPad or on their desktop as a link. All of that can be done. This could be used in many different. You can build Power Apps to build many different types of usage and to meet different business needs. So let's flick back into our presentation here. So some of the benefits of Power Apps are speed and low cost. So this is such an easy tool to use. It's drag and drop. It allows you to do things in a reduced time. You can get mission critical components of your business to the business quicker and more easily and more cost effective. You can build apps without compromise. You're building this on top of the Azure platform, Azure services, connecting to different other services that you may have. You can, the way that you're building this is a very robust but user-friendly tool, and you are not having to develop code, but you can do it with confidence and know that you're actually building something that is going to last. And also the efficient extensibility, so you can interact with things like Office 365, Dynamics 365, the whole common data service underpins all of this. So you can extend this out beyond just a simple click and enter data application. It can be rich, bringing in other information from other sources. Okay, let's continue on. So the next part of the component that we wanted to have a look at was around Power Automate. And moving on quickly, I suppose, what is Power Automate? What used to be called Microsoft Flow. So it's a service that automates workflows between apps and services. It synchronizes files. So it's a low-code platform for workflow and process automation. And if you're technical, I suppose you can understand that it is a set of triggers and actions that are executed when that trigger is actually executed. So let's actually have a quick look at an example here. So you can see the blue box there of Microsoft Power Automate integrating, communicating, and workflow. We've got on the left-hand side of that the forms that might be a data input. So, for instance, we might have Microsoft Forms actually feeding into a Power Automate component. That might then go to some data storage, SharePoint Online. We might have a Flow connector built into Power BI to display the reporting around those forms being filled in. And we might also integrate and use Power Automate to connect into Power Apps to send information through to something like Dynamics 365 and the Common Data Service to some stakeholders in a process that we might be using. So Power Automate can move data and components of your ecosystem around the ecosystem. It moves that around in an efficient and organized way, and something that you can actually click and drag yourself in terms of building those processes. Let's have a quick look at a specific example. So here's an example whereby you can see the linear process that is actually being taken place to get an approval completed. So something is requested, Power Automate actually moves that information to the delivery manager, start to set a process of if it's rejected, then the process ends. If it is actually approved, it moves on, goes into Power Automate, and then other stakeholders are affected, and Power Automate is involved in the approval process all the way through until that approval is actually complete and gets put into SharePoint. So you can see the different components and different parts of a holistic process from end to end, and how Power Automate can actually be involved in that process all the way through to move the process as we go through. So let's have a quick look at Power Automate. Once again, we'll just flick back into Dynamics, into the Power Automate world, and so you can see we're in Power Automate here within my environment. I've got a number of different components down the side here. Once again, I can create my own. There's different types of templates that we can actually, different types of flows that you can see there, an automated flow, an instant flow, a scheduled flow. I can also then use some of the templates. I can see the connectors that are available. So there's hundreds of connectors that are available in this particular platform, either into Microsoft's own ecosystem or into other services that you might see. And we'll have a look at those in a moment. So there is a section here just specifically for connectors, whether they be Microsoft connectors or even other connectors that you can see on the screen there into other particular systems, Gmail, SAP, Facebook. All of those have standard out-of-the-box connectors into Power Automate. There is also a template section here, so you can use other Power Automates that have been already pre-built, whether by Microsoft or by another company. So they are all published there. Some of the work that you may need to do may already be done. So, for example, I've got an email attachment, and I want to save that to my OneDrive automatically. I can use that template to grab attachments off my emails and dump them into OneDrive. So that's an example that we can have there. I'm going to flick into my flows, and I've got a list of flows that I have up here in place. So I'm going to click into the one which is around getting a weekly email summary of new Dynamics opportunities. So I also have Dynamics 365 customer engagement that tracks all of my opportunities and sales processes. I want to get an email each time, each week to list out the opportunities that I have got. So you can see the stages of this particular process, and I can drill into each of the different stages. I can build extra components. This is all very click and drag. So all of this is, actually I'll just click into the right one here. So let's just open this one up and edit this particular email here. So this process here has a range of different steps, and it's even branched off as well. So you can see here that each 7 days I'm getting a list of records from my opportunities, new opportunities from my server. If there is opportunities, it's creating an HTML table with the relevant data. And I've also got the ability then to program the sending of that email with the information from my from Dynamics 365. If there is an error, I'm sending an email with the notification that there's an error in my Dynamics 365, and it can't actually retrieve the information. So you can see the way that we can program that. I can also test that information. So I can perform the test and trigger the action. So if I want to actually run the flow, and what you'll see here is you will see this actually going through the process and ticking off each of the stages as we go through, and you can see even how long that's actually taken. So it's taken less than 10 seconds there to deliver that particular flow, and it has sent me an email with that particular information there. So you can see there that there's a list of opportunities that I have in Dynamics 365. So anyone can come in and start to create a flow, connect into different services, set triggers as to what's actually happening, and then set the actions as to what's progressed after those triggers. So all of that's available for most people with Dynamics licensing as well, so you will have some capacity to do that, or you can actually purchase that as a standalone sort of tool. So let's flick back into our presentation. So some of the benefits of Power Automate, it's a streamlined and it allows you to streamline and automate everyday tasks. So fantastic little tool to be able to do that. It improves workflow and productivity. It's a really robust component of the whole Power platform, and allows you to really, in a robust way, integrate either your Dynamics, your Office, your Microsoft tools, as well as other connectors as well. And it allows you to share and access business data quickly and easily. So using those connectors and files and sources of data in other locations really allows you to bring that all together into one platform and to disseminate that to your users. Okay, so let's move on there a little bit, and we'll just click back into that presentation, and we'll have a look at Power Virtual Agents. So what is a Power Virtual Agent? So some of you may have ever been on a website where you get the little help thing pop up and speak to an agent. This is a similar component and allows you to actually not have a user on the end of that. So it's a robot. It's a bot. So it's a chatbot that allows you to have that on your website. But from a technical and building perspective, this is a guided, no-code graphical interface that allows you to create those chatbots extremely easy. So it uses that bot technology and allows you to use conversational AI, artificial intelligence, to deliver that to your online customers. It eliminates the gap between subject matter experts and development teams. So you're not having that difference between what your subject matter experts have the ability to information that they have, and then the development teams. Those subject matter experts can actually code this and build that themselves. Once again, it's sitting on top of the common data service, so it has all of the ability to connect into different components. Here's a typical screen here, and we're going to jump in and have a look at the Power Virtual Agent so you can get a feel of that. So let's just jump into the Power Virtual Agent here. So straight away you can see that we've got a test here. I can look at the different topics, and so I can build threads of conversation. So if I, as an end user, want to ask about a particular question or a particular product that you have, I would build a topic and allow that to address that. So for instance, here we have a topic that allows us to focus on when is a store particularly closed. So you can see here the trigger phrases, and I can then also drill into see what the questions I might be feeding back to the user in terms of messaging for information. So for instance, let's have a little look at that. Store hours. Let's have a little look at, use that as a trigger word. So straight away, I can see there that I am I can pick up from my bot and it will come back and give me the information that I have programmed into it. So any user can then start to build a conversation with one of your customers. So you can see here I've got, I'm happy to help with store hours. Here's the store hours. Did that answer your question? Yes, thank you very much. Let's go back and have a look at another particular topic. So for instance here, we might want to have a look at what the location of my stores are as well. So are there other stores in the area? So let's put in check store locations or stores near me. Stores near me. Straight away, the bot goes away and grabs the conversational information that I have programmed into that, and it will feed that back to me and says, right, I'll be glad to find which store would you be interested in. So it's presenting a number of different stores there. I can then flick into that, and then also it will then bring back that information around the store location and then ask me if that answered my question. So once again, I can program all of those nice to haves, including a rating into that particular process. This is an example here of it sitting on a website. So this could be your website, this could be your intranet, it could be any number of different services that you're available where you're wanting people to interact with the particular bot. You can see Giles, actually, my bot, named Giles, sitting on that website. I'm going to say hello to Giles. He's going to respond back and start to then feed me some of that information that I want. So straight away, we can see that Giles is a virtual agent. Thank you very much. If you want to speak to a human agent, let me know. How can I help you today? Check store location. So straight away, oh, yep, there we go. Which store? Seattle. Moving on, progressing through the conversation. So without having an agent sitting in the back end of your service department all the time, you can service your customers through an organized conversation that is based on previous conversations and frequently asked questions you may have with your customers. So that's the power. That's the Power Virtual Agent component. Let's just flick back into our presentation here so that we can continue on with the Power Platform. So you can see here with the Power Virtual Agents that we have some benefits, some improved customer satisfaction. You're able to answer those questions in a much quicker, richer way. You've got reduced costs. You're not having a particular person sitting on the back end waiting for questions to come in. We can do that in an automated way. And it empowers your teams. It's giving your personnel, your staff, the ability to grow in new technologies and streamlining processes and delivering that to your customers. So the last particular component that we'll look at today in terms of the Power Platform is Power BI. And very quickly, most of you or some of you will have interacted with Power BI before and know that it is a business analytical solution. So allows us to take data sources and rich data and use that data and present that data in a rich and I suppose, constructive way for your organisations. So it allows you to visualise that data, share that data amongst your organisation, and also to embed that data into different apps and or websites. So some of you may have used Power BI before, but never used it as part of one of the business applications that you're using. So, for example, Dynamics 365 Customer Engagement Sales, you can embed that as a dashboard within that D365 sales application. So, building on top of all of the tools that you have in Dynamics 365 and adding that rich layer of analysis and data visualization into the whole application. So just as an example here on the screen, you can see that that Dynamics 365 finance and operation. You can see that we've actually built a Power BI process into, or platform into, the actual application, and we're presenting the data from either finance and operation or another component of the business applications as well. You can see also on the left-hand side that there's many data sources that you can use here. So there's a rich amount of data sources that you can connect into, over 1,000 different data sources that you can connect into Power BI to start to analyze, to graph, to present in a really rich way for your organization. Some of the benefits of Power BI: so easy to use, easy to connect all of those different data sources, and risk-free pricing, which allows you to really enter the world of data analysis and visualization at a really economical price. Lastly, here with Power BI, in February 2020, Gartner recognised Microsoft as a leader for the 13th consecutive year. So you can see Microsoft is well out in front of the pack in terms of business intelligence platforms, which Power BI is. So it is a really rich platform and gives you the whole suite of technology at a really economical and efficient price. So as you can see, we've looked at Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, Power Virtual Agent that makes up that suite of Power Platform tools. It sits on top of the Common Data Service and all of the other Dynamics 365 products, Office 365 and Azure Service products, and has an extensive data connector network that allows you to build in a range of different connections to piece all of this information together and bring it into a usable platform for your organization.
Yeah, thank you, Nigel. And again, I hope that was gave an insight into the ease in which, and I guess the speed and ease in which we're able to streamline and automate processes at the moment. But again, we do like showing people with hands-on tools getting inside the applications, just to really show and give people a feel how these tools work. But there is obviously much more that we can do and we can demonstrate. So we're going to be focusing on our future webinars in specific areas. So obviously customers with ERP applications, particularly Business Central or finance and operations. Then, so we've got that on the 28th. On the 29th, we have, again, focusing on the Power Apps and extending, in this case, Dynamics 365 and the CRM workloads, be it sales, customer service, marketing, or field service. And then we'll still touch on Automate, Power Automate, and the flows that creates in those other webinars, but then really drilling down in the ability of Power Automate to even go to the point of robotic process automation, and how really Microsoft's full strategy around streamlining and automating tasks that can possibly be done by computers, and showing that toolkit. There is also we're going to be doing a standalone Power Apps. We understand that some people won't be on the latest versions of Dynamics 365, might not be on the Microsoft Dynamics platform at all. But again, the way that Microsoft has opened up its technologies to other technology stacks is really quite powerful and compelling, even if you aren't using Microsoft as an ERP or CRM. So we'll do that. from this, we'll obviously gauge interest in seeing, you know, are people wanting to start. We've been talking about chatbots for quite a while, but we haven't had the massive number of people that we're really in customers that we're wanting to get using that. So again, if there is that demand there, would love to do a virtual agents webinar, and we'll definitely be doing a Power BI one and really drilling into that. It's probably the only thing we didn't really get hands on today. Please note that if you've got a current relationship with MicroChannel, please feel free to reach out to your account managers there in the respective states, or please feel free to call up MicroChannel to get more information and talk to the Nigels in our business about how these tools, how these Power Platform tools might be able to help in your business.